What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we just had a game against the Indiana Pacers, and the Chicago Bulls walked away with a very good win in a very exciting and entertaining game all the way around for the Chicago Bulls. Now, that wasn't to say that there wasn't some negative to talk about. That wasn't to say that we obviously let the Pacers back into the game a couple of times in the second half. But all things considered, I asked the Bulls to do a lot of things in my last video, and honestly it feels like Christmas because I feel like I got every single little bit of what I asked for from that video till now. So we'll discuss all of that in this video. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today. Who was your player of the game? You might think it's one person, but honestly I think there are a couple of guys you could put into this fray, and just your overall thoughts and opinions on how well the Bulls played. We won the game 124 to 109. An amazing first half performance, I have to say. Finally, we saw the Chicago Bulls end a first quarter with a very convincing lead by the end of it. Yes, the 5-0 start was definitely something we can talk about as a potential slow start, but at the end of the day, we won the first quarter, and I feel like we haven't done that for the majority of our season. So very, very positive start. We asked for the start of the game to be stronger. We got the start of the game to be stronger. And honestly, I could look down the list of the Chicago Bulls players that played today, and I really can't find someone that didn't pull their weight in this game. For the little amount of game time that they got, or for the big amount of game time they got, I felt like everybody kind of played their role and what they were supposed to do. So this, again, it feels like Christmas. This is the game where I pretty much got everything I wanted. I'm very, very happy with the performance overall. Again, our ball movement was fantastic. Again, the Bulls were flying in today's game. Our transition play was so spectacular. Our lob threats have been absolutely amazing as well. Javonte Green flying for alley-oops. Andre Drummond flying for alley-oops. Derrick Jones Jr. was getting close to flying to alley-oops. He ended up getting fouled nonetheless. Again, the Bulls were flying in today's game. Very, very positive stuff all the way around. And our offense was extremely diversified. A lot of points in the paint. Our bench points were absolutely amazing. Zach LaVine and his three-point shooting was spectacular today. We got to the foul line a lot. Very, very positive stuff on the offensive end. But of course, with those positives, you do have to talk about some of those negatives. Obviously, the second half performance was a little bit underwhelming in terms of we allowed Indiana to come back. It was kind of a combination of Indiana were making really tough shots. They played with nothing left to lose. And we've already seen with Indiana's season that they've kind of already come back from major leads before. So it definitely wasn't a foregone conclusion, even though we're up by 20, 25 points in the game, that Indiana weren't going to come back. And they showed their talent and they came back. They're a young team that wants to play hard, and sometimes when the Bulls slack off, they're not trying hard. They want to get, I guess, a spectacular offense and not the basic offense from time to time. We let the Indiana Pacers team come back. So that is a worry, and it's something that needs to be preventable, especially when we play the San Antonio Spurs in the next game. If we go up by 25 to 30 points in that game, we got to end it quickly because we got a back-to-back right after it. So the Bulls need to learn from that, and hopefully if we're in that position next time, it won't be a case of maybe the Pacers can come back and steal this from us, which is probably what the Pacers felt. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, about the Indiana Pacers and the Bulls game, I also do want to shout out an Indiana Pacers player that I feel like will be very good for them in the future, and his name is Benedict Mathurin. Hopefully I said his name correctly. He's a young rookie, ladies and gentlemen, had 27 points in his last game. I think it was against the Detroit Pistons, and has proven to be a very good scorer off of the bench for the Indiana Pacers. I know it's a game reaction for the Bulls side, but young guys that really develop and really play well in this league from the very beginning is hard to come by, especially with the consistency level of how the league goes. So I do want to give my shout out to him. He had a great game, and again, I think he's going to be starting for the Pacers very soon, and I ultimately think he's going to be the Pacers' best scorer in the very short term. But let's get back to the Bulls side of things, and let's talk about the individual performances for the Chicago Bulls. Let's look at those guys that had great games, a little bit underwhelming games, and stuff of that nature. DeMar DeRozan had 17 points, 1 rebound, and 6 assists, 6 from 14 from the field, 0 from 1 from the three-point line. DeMar DeRozan wasn't the 30-point DeMar DeRozan today, and I guess the biggest positive to take away is that he didn't need to have 30, 35, 37 points alongside of 6 assists to really make an impact in this game. But you could tell he was upset at the fact that he ended up getting subbed out of that game. DeMar DeRozan wants his 20,000 points. I'm sure he knew the record was very, very close, but this gives him a chance to do it against the San Antonio Spurs. Obviously a former side, away from home. I think the San Antonio crowd will give him a lot of love and respect for dropping that 20,000. So of course it will still mean something. I'm sure he would have loved to do it with the Chicago Bulls inside the United Center, I guess, with a whole crowd cheering him, and obviously the TV screens all around the arena, I guess, praising him as well. Congratulations. I'm sure he would have loved that moment, and maybe he'll get that moment once he returns to Chicago as well in the next game after the San Antonio Spurs or whenever our next home game is. But at the end of the day, it was a situation he was a bit upset, and you can kind of tell and understand why. But it is what it is. He's going to get his 20,000 points. He had a solid game here. He didn't need to be the guy to go to for offense. I think our offense was so great without DeMar DeRozan playing, and of course him adding 17 points on top of that was icing on the cake. He did very, very good in this game. I loved his performance, and again, on to the next one for San Antonio, and I'm sure DeMar DeRozan will have another solid game. Patrick Williams had 10 points, 2 assists, 2 steals in this game, 4 from 5 from the field. In terms of the aggression side of things, the actual shot selection that Patrick Williams took was much more aggressive. He got to the basket a lot more. He tried to take the game a lot more. And then, of course, he made some additional threes as well. I thought Patrick Williams played okay, played good in this game. I'm a bit greedy when it comes to Patrick Williams, because when you see him have a great game, you're just asking for so much more. You want so much more. You have no choice but to be greedy, because you can see the level of play that Patrick Williams can bring on it every night, really. And when he doesn't show it, it is a bit frustrating, and you want to be greedy with Patrick Williams. Sometimes it does take patience. We have to be patient with Patrick Williams, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. I personally still haven't changed my answer. I'd like to see Patrick Williams get a little bit more run with the bench unit. But at the end of the day, whatever the decision the coaching staff decides to do, whatever the choices are for Patrick Williams, I want to see more. I want to be greedy with Patrick Williams. And I hope Patrick Williams can eventually become not necessarily a little bit more greedy, but just continue to be aggressive. Take it to the basket, get your foul calls, and then of course when you're shooting your threes as well, that's not going to hurt the Chicago Bulls either. So I'd say a good game, but definitely his best game of the season for the Chicago Bulls. Then we go to Nikola Vucevic, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists in this game, 5 from 10 from the field, 1 from 3 from the three-point line. One thing I have to say about Nikola Vucevic that I thought was very frustrating, and again, there are a couple of moments in the game where you could say small doses of frustration, was that in the first half, he got so many points. He was dominating the Indiana Pacers in the first half. Great play off in terms of offensive rebounding, and of course, getting the putbacks and the post moves and everything like that. Nice pick and rolls. He was fantastic in the first half of that game. In the second half of that game, I can't remember that many times he got the ball. I think the only time he actually got a scoring opportunity in that second half was when, in the fourth quarter, he got an and-one with an Alex Caruso pass. So that's the only time I can remember Vucevic actually getting a scoring opportunity in the second half. I'm sure he shot some shots, and he may have missed some shots as well, but I think the Bulls didn't do a very good job in the second half at giving him the ball. When the big man is feasting the way that he is, he had a great start to this game. You got to see it through. And I'm happy that, again, it didn't affect us that much. And I still think Vucevic had a great game. But altogether, I do feel that when the big man is as hot as he was, continue to go to him. Pacers outside of Miles Turner do not have a lot of guys that can really guard Nikola Vucevic. So again, very, very good from Vucevic. And I think we can see so much better from him. That's where I'm very optimistic about Vucevic, because he is in the paint a lot more. He is trying to bang down low. He is trying to get a lot more of those offensive rebounds and being a presence in the paint. That's all we can ask for from him. And I think it can only get better from here, which is very, very positive. I also want to say, in terms of the Indiana Pacers team, again, I have a lot to get through. Their shot blocking was unbelievable. And I'm not talking just about Miles Turner. We all know what Miles Turner brings to the table. He's one of the best shot blockers in the league. Again, many people want Miles Turner on this team, and I'm sure there's still a lot of people that want Miles Turner on this team. But that entire Pacers team actually did very good with the shot blocks. They blocked guys like Vucevic, like Levine constantly. Guys like Ayo as well, got a couple of blocks on him as well. Very, very good night from Pacers in terms of the shot blocking aspect. So you got to give the praise where the praise is due with the Indiana Pacers. Moving into Zach LaVine, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists with 1 steal, 6 from 13 from the field, and 6 from 8 from the three-point line. So you can clearly see what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. 6 threes, 6 made field goals for Zach LaVine. That means his three-point shooting was at an unbelievable level. But what I liked about Zach LaVine, and something we did not see that much last year, Zach LaVine had over 10 free throws, I believe, in this game. He made 10 from 12 from the free throw line. If we see that from Zach LaVine, because we know DeMar DeRozan can do that, We see Zach LaVine add that to his game, where he's constantly getting fouled and he's forcing team defenses to collapse, and they have no other choice to foul, otherwise they get an easy 2 from them. That's going to be huge for the Chicago Bulls. His three-point shooting was fantastic, but his three-point shooting is relatively inconsistent from time to time. He's not always going to shoot 6 from 8 from the three-point line. But when he can add free throws to his game, he becomes much more dangerous. And again, it's another element to his game that I'd love to see continue to grow and develop. He had a very strong game in this game. Again, close to a 30-point performance. Zach LaVine may truly be back. We'll have to wait and see how it goes in the next time out. Moving into the bench, once again, our bench unit was fantastic. 40-plus bench points in this game. You can't ask for much more from this bench. And outside of the game against Cleveland, our bench has been very, very good for the majority of the season. Coby White, 6 points, 3 rebounds, alongside of a steal, 2 from 6 from the field, 2 from 6 from the three-point line. Not the best game from Coby White, but again, not the worst game from Coby White. He didn't get to play a lot of minutes, only played 11 minutes in today's game. As I mentioned before, when Coby White is going to be firing on all cylinders, you're going to see him play for 15 to 16 to 20 points whenever he does catch fire. Because Coby White is that type of guy. He has inconsistent games where maybe his shooting percentage is not that high, but at the same time, he's going to have nights where he doesn't miss. And then we can see Coby White play a lot more minutes. I really like how Billy Donovan is adjusting the lineups after that Cleveland game, and it has every right to do so. So not the worst game from Coby White, but we can see better, of course, and we ask to see better from Coby White. Moving into Javonte Green, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist alongside of a steal, 4 from 6 from the field. Javonte Green was absolutely sensational as well. Again, this man was flying in today's game. The entire Bulls team was flying in this game, and you love to see it. I'm so thankful that I got to watch a game like this, and Javonte Green only made it better. Very, very happy with Javonte Green, I've got to say. And yeah, he's definitely a big part of why this bench played very, very well. Then moving into Alex Caruso with another 8-point performance, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Easily our best defensive player today was Alex Caruso. I can't stress it enough how strong he has been on the defensive end. And I guess we've come to expect this. Last year, he was very, very solid on the defensive end as well. Him and Lonzo Ball were called the dynamic duo on the defensive end. One guy was really up in your face, really, really strong in terms of, I guess, putting the pressure on. And then you got Lonzo Ball as well. Can switch 1 through 4, block shots with the elite point guard. Obviously gets his steals as well and plays very solid one-on-one defense. Again, both of them are really, really good. And I can't wait to see that dynamic duo back on the floor together. But until we have to wait for that, we got to praise Alex Caruso and how much effort and, I guess, attention he's bringing to that defensive end off of our bench. Again, I think he is one of the main reasons our bench is flourishing at the moment. Andre Drummond had an 8-point, 13 rebounds and 1 assist performance alongside with a very good block. That man leaped for that block. Very good rebounding. Again, he was also flying in this game. I think all of his points came from dunk opportunities. What an outstanding game from Andre Drummond. And again, you see the dynamic. You see how we play differently with Nikola Vucevic to Andre Drummond. Nikola Vucevic is a lot more in the post, a lot more post hooks, getting offensive rebounds and just putting it back. Andre Drummond, very good pick and roll, very good lob threat. Every time he gets the ball, he tries to dunk it and tries to put pressure on the paint. And again, a great performance from Andre Drummond, in my humble opinion. And then, in my opinion, the best bench player of the night, Goran Dragic, with 13 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 from 9 from the field, 3 from 3 from the three-point line. I genuinely, in my heart of heart, thinks if there's any other guy outside of Zach LaVine that should get the player of the game, it's Goran Dragic. He made the absolute difference. When the Indiana Pacers were coming back, guess who was the guy that came on and the run completely shifted to our side? Goran Dragic. Every single time the bench unit came in, guess when Goran Dragic came on, guess how much we scored? It was a lot. Goran Dragic was the difference, in my opinion, in this game. Now, I don't think I'm going to give him my player of the game, but he deserves a massive shout out for the performance he truly had in this game. It was truly unbelievable how strong he was in the game. Full credit to Goran Dragic. Again, he's having a tremendous start to his Bulls career. You can tell he's having fun. He's smiling every single time he's on the floor. The lob threats with Andre Drummond, beautiful connection there. And he's making his three-point shots as well. He's adding a lot to this team. A lot of people didn't have a lot of faith in Goran Dragic, but so far, I think he's proving everybody wrong in that instance. I loved his performance. And obviously, we saw guys like Derrick Jones Jr. and Dale and Terry play a couple of minutes in the game. I thought Derrick Jones Jr. was unlucky not to score in the game, in all honesty. Again, I think he should have got fouled. He got an offensive rebound that could have been a dunk. Missed opportunity, but again, Derrick Jones Jr. is not going to be a guy that I guess we always turn to for offense, but his movement was good. Again, I think his defense was relatively solid as well. And this is also a different type of game where maybe if Derrick Jones Jr. doesn't play well, you put in other guys like Patrick Williams, who played more minutes in today's game compared to... Well, he played around about the same minutes in this game, I would say, compared to, obviously, the last time out. But again, even guys like Goran Dragic, Andre Drummond, Alex Caruso, the list goes on, Javonte Green. Very, very solid stuff there. And all things considered, ladies and gentlemen, that is the individual performances for this game. And I'm not going to target a must improve. I don't feel the need to do so in today's game, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like everybody played their role. There's no need to target out one individual player when we're up for the majority of the time by 20 to 25 points. It was a great game for the Chicago Bulls. We should feel very happy with this performance. And although they came back, you got to give credit for the Pacers for coming back. They're a young team, not expected to win a lot of games. But if they continue fighting like that, maybe not necessarily going down by 20 every single time, but if they continue to fight the way that they fight in this game, you will see them win some games. Maybe even some of them against the Chicago Bulls. We'll have to wait and see down the line. But the player of the game for me will be Zach LaVine. Again, I just thought the way that he controlled the game from the foul line was absolutely superb, and his three-point shooting was on point. He had a great scoring night, and I think it was a well-needed scoring night considering Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan weren't necessarily the best scorers in today's game. So Zach LaVine stepped up to the plate. I think he works well with the bench unit as well. When the bench unit comes in and Zach LaVine comes in, I think he suits them very well. And just overall good game. Very, very positive game from Zach LaVine. And we'll wait and see how he goes in the next time out. The Bulls' record now, ladies and gentlemen, is 3-2. We go back to a positive record, and of course, it's an expected win against the Indiana Pacers, we have to admit, but still a relatively good win nonetheless. With the next game coming against the San Antonio Spurs, I've said it from now, I believe San Antonio will cause us problems. I think their ball movement and their structure, the way that they like to play, with obviously Greg Popovich as the coach, Spurs always gives us problems. Even when we win games, Spurs will give us problems. I remember 2 years ago, the Spurs actually came back. It wasn't with DeMar DeRozan in the team or LaMarcus Aldridge, I believe. The Spurs came back from a 23-point deficit to win the game over the Chicago Bulls. Different team then, different team last year, different team now. But I'm saying, my example is the Spurs will cause us problems, in my opinion. I don't think we're going to walk into San Antonio and blow them out. I don't believe we will do that. But if we do that, if we end up getting a 25 to a 20-point lead in that game, I hope we manage it better, and I hope we're not talking about the Spurs coming back and making it a 3-point game, a 2-point game, or anything like that. I hope that's not what we see. But altogether, we'll wait and see how we do against the San Antonio Spurs. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Once again, let me know in the comments below what you think about the Chicago Bulls performance today. Have a wonderful and safe day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.